Hi, this is Suzanne from Crafting Each Day, and this is a tutorial on a join as you go method. I'm going to be demonstrating how to join these 4 squares together. To begin, I'm going to begin with the square in the upper right hand corner, that's this one, and join the yarn with a standing double crochet in the corner. So the standing double crochet, you make a slip knot, put the yarn on your hook, and then work a double crochet as normal, but without inserting at the bottom. So you yarn over like you're going to do double crochet, insert into the space, pull up a loop. Now I have 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. So that will be the start. Now I'm going to work a double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet in that same corner. Double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. Now I'm going to work around this square in a pattern where I chain 1, skip a stitch, do 2 double crochets, chain 1, skip a stitch. So I'm going to do that across the top here. Chain 1, skip a stitch, 2 double crochets, chain 1, skip a stitch, 2 double crochets, and I'm going to keep doing that, and I'll meet you back at this corner. Okay, so I've worked across the top and I've just finished 2 double crochets. So I'm going to chain 1, and then in the next corner I'm going to work 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets. So there's 1 double crochet, 2, chain 2, 2 double crochets. And now I'm going to continue in this pattern around the side here, do the corner, and across the bottom, and I'll meet you back at this corner. Okay, so now I've worked in pattern across the top, I turned the corner, I went down the side, turned the corner, went across the bottom, and I've completed the 2 double crochets in that corner. And now I'm going to chain 2, but instead of going up the side, I'm going to work into the corner of the next square. So this square goes on top of this one. So now I'm going to do 2 double crochets into this corner, the upper right hand corner of the next square. So as you can see here, there's 2 double crochets, a chain 2, and 2 double crochets in the corner. So now we're at the point where the joining as you go begins. And to do that, instead of making a chain, we're going to do a join. And we're going to go into the next hole on the square above, insert the hook from top to bottom through the hole, and make a slip stitch. So yarn over and pull the yarn through. So that'll join it. Then you skip 1 and you do your next 2 double crochets on this square, skipping that one, 2 double crochets, then I'm going to continue across doing the join instead of the chain 1s, and then skipping a stitch on this square and doing 2 double crochets. So once more, instead of chain 1, I insert my hook from top to bottom in that next hole. I do a slip stitch, so I yarn over and pull through everything. Then I skip a stitch on this square and do 2 double crochets. Okay, so I'm going to continue doing that, and I'll meet you back at the corner. So here I am about to do the corner on this square. I'm going to do my 2 double crochet in the corner, I'm going to do my slip stitch join into the corner of the square above. So insert top to bottom, do my slip stitch through. Then I'm going to chain one because the corner stitches have 2 stitches. So the slip stitch counts as 1, and then I'm going to do a chain 1. Then I'll do 2 more double crochets in the corner. And now these 2 squares are joined. And I'm going to work down the side in pattern, and I'll meet you at the next corner. So I've worked down the side of this square and I'm almost to the bottom. And what I'm going to do here is do my chain 1. I'll do my 2 double crochets in the corner. Chain 1, 2 double crochets in the corner. And now if I was going to continue and make a longer strip, I would go across and keep joining squares in the same way. But this is a sample, so now I'm going to move on to joining this square on the side. So to join these 2 squares now, as if this is the bottom of our blanket, we did our 2 double crochets in this corner, then we're going to chain 2 and do 2 double crochets in this corner. So chain 2, 1, 2, and then 2 double crochets in there. There's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets. So that gets us started, and now we're going to work up here. Working up here is very similar to working here. So the next step, instead of doing a chain 1, is we're going to join with a slip stitch join into this hole. So we insert from top to bottom through the hole, make our slip stitch join, then we go back to this square and we skip a stitch and two double crochets. So skip a stitch, 2 double crochets, and then instead of chaining 1, we join to here again. So we go from top to bottom through there, slip stitch join, and continue working in this pattern until the next corner. So I'm going to do that and I'll meet you at the next corner. Okay, so I worked up between these 2 squares doing the double crochet, slip stitch join, skip a stitch, 2 double crochet, slip stitch join, skip a stitch, 2 double crochet, until I've made 2 double crochets in this corner, and I'm ready to join to the corner on this square. So to do that join, I just do my 2 double crochets in this corner, and then I do my slip stitch join here. Then I chain 1, place a marker in that chain 1, and then I do another slip stitch join in the corner here of this next square. So remember, slip stitch join is you insert the hook from top to bottom through, yarn over, and pull through all the loops. So now these 3 are joined. So now I'm going to join this green square, and I'm going to do that like I've been doing all along. So I'll do 2 double crochets in the corner of the green square. Instead of the chain 1 and skip a stitch, I'll do a slip stitch join in this hole. Then I skip a stitch on this square and do 2 double crochets and then work up the side. So first, 2 double crochets in the corner of the green square, slip stitch join in the next hole on the pink square, skip a stitch here, 2 double crochets, and then continue in pattern up to this corner. So I've now worked in pattern up the side of the green square, joining it as I go along to the pink square. I've done my 2 double crochets in this corner. I'm going to do my slip stitch join to this corner on the pink square. I'm going to chain 1. Then I'm going to do 2 more double crochets into the corner on the green square. chain 1, skip a stitch, 2 double crochets, and then I'm going to continue in pattern around the green square, and I'll meet you at this corner. And I won't be joining yet to the red square when I do that. That joining will happen after this step. So work around to this corner. Okay, so I've worked around the green square and I'm about to do the corner here. So I'm going to chain 1. I'll do 2 double crochets in this corner, and then I'm going to do my slip stitch join into this marked stitch and do my 2 double crochets into this corner on the red square. So here I'm rotating everything. Chain 1, 2 double crochets in this corner, slip stitch join into the marked stitch, rotating again, so I just remove the marker. Here's the marked stitch. Slip stitch join in there, and then 2 double crochets in this corner. Now I'll do 2 double crochets in this corner, slip stitch join up here to the next space. Here we go, 2 double crochets in this corner, slip stitch join, skip a stitch, 2 double crochets, slip stitch join, and continue in that manner until this corner. So now I've worked across here, joining as I go. I'm about to do this corner. So I'll do 2 double crochets in the red corner, the corner of the red square. Slip stitch join into the corner of the green square, chain 1, and 2 double crochets again into the corner of the red square. And now I can continue in pattern around the red square, and I'll meet you back here at the bottom corner here. Okay, now I've worked my way around the red square to the spot just before the corner at the bottom. I'm going to rotate my work so that my bottom's now at the top. Chain 1, do 2 double crochets in the red corner, or the corner of the red square. Chain 1, do a slip stitch join in the chain 2 space that I have between the 2 corners. Slip stitch join. Then I chain 1 and do 2 double crochets in this corner. And now I can continue in pattern around the gray square until I get to this point. So now I've worked around the gray square to the spot just before the corner. I'm going to rotate my work. This is going to be very similar to what I just did. I'm going to chain 1, 2 double crochet in the corner, chain 1, slip stitch join in the chain 2 space, chain 1, 2 double crochets into this corner, and then I'm going to work in pattern until I'm just before where I started, and I'll meet you there. So now I've worked across the side of the pink square to where I started. I'm just before that starting spot where I did my first standing double crochet. I'm just going to chain 1 and join with a slip stitch to the top of the standing double crochet. Chain 1 and slip stitch. And now I'm ready to do my border.